So we're live on site today. We're in this incredible home in Fort Lauderdale. I've never been to a home like this before. I've seen many homes in multiples of millions of dollars. And this home in particular is a really unique home that we are in. It's listed for
$29.9 million.
$29.9 million, just a smidgen under 30 million. So don't worry, if you're looking for a little bit of a discount, you got it right there. I'm joined with a dear friend of mine, someone who I do a lot of business with, and someone who I admire and adore. I love his energy. I love what he does in the world of real estate and how he continuously breaks boundaries and barriers with everything that he touches. I'd like to call you...
You're my bro. I love you. This is my sales partner and brother from Orlando.
See how he takes over? Yes, we just do this all the time. Well, listen, my guest today is Brady Thrasher from Remax Preferred. We've known each other from the same little humble beginning and town that we're both from, Windsor, Ontario, or the greater Windsor, Ontario area. And we're joined today in your newest listing, probably the baddest listing I've ever seen in my life.
You'll never see another home like it because it just doesn't exist. There is a similar type of build. The same builder built 7 doors down, and that sold 6 months ago for $29.6 million. So that's kind of given us that price point to go off of. But this is like, it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but getting shrunk in a big Louis Vuitton purse or a Birkin purse. Every detail in here is just over the top.
I feel like
it's
I'm in a
overstimulating.
museum. It is overstimulating.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in Bruce from Batman's house or something. This is his mansion or something.
It's definitely Bond villain style. Yeah, it's incredible.
And you can definitely see the Bond motif throughout the whole place here as well.
Yeah, there's many Bond images throughout, all the artwork. It really has that dramatic and Tom Ford inspired grit to it. So it's super slick.
There's marble. I think they've dug up quarries to be able to get the rock.
Yeah, if you look all throughout the house, you're only going to find drywall in one room, and then you're going to find drywall in the ceiling detail. Everything else here is either marble, ceramic, leather panel, custom leather. It's insane.
The millwork is incredible here. I wish for those of you who are listening to this can actually visually see it, and hopefully we'll be able to share some inserts or at least share a link for you to be able to see this home as well too. It's quite incredible.
Yeah,
but Brady, before we go on any further and talk about this house, I want to talk about your beginnings. We've known each other for a long time. How did you get into real estate?
Just like you did.
By accident?
Yeah, you get in by accident. So there's always a better and higher use to our purpose and our abilities, right? So we were both in promotions.
Correct.
Promotions gives you a platform to meet people, to connect, to build relationships and build rapport. And then you kind of develop those people skills, which in real estate is very important. You need to be able to adapt. You need to be more hospitable and understand that it's not about a sale. It's about facilitating and actually being a part of an experience. So we both shared that, and being from that same city where I feel Windsor's always just got, no respect. You've always had to work harder to stand out, especially you moving down here, going to Orlando. You come from a city where everything is just more difficult. We don't have the population, so you really have to grind it out to try to make noise or make money. And then when you go to a different market, you start seeing the separation of like oil and water. Correct. And I feel like Southwestern Ontario just really develops juggernauts. People who are willing to put their nose down and just fight and grow. So, I got into this because my mom was in real estate. So she was in for about 13 years, retired, had a different role at a different company. Wasn't going to do real estate anymore, but I watched her as I grew up, and I just seen the entrepreneurial spirit. She controlled her days, and I liked how every time the year started, it was at zero, but you also had the ability to have the different client that you might want to serve. And if you want to develop a niche and a brand, you can specifically target certain buyers and sellers, and that's going to be your business. So I like how every year is different, and this business, we can be who we want to be and serve who we want to serve.
I love how every transaction is actually different.
Yeah.
And really, you're getting paid to solve a problem.
Yes.
And the problem that you're the bigger the problem is, like this beautiful home.
Yeah. There's no problem here, though.
There's no problem.
There's no
here.
problem here.
This house is like.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
can't wait
normally
to show
have
the
something
viewers
to
through
say, but
because this is definitely the most coveted listing. We're doing a private event that you guys are attending, and the brokers all around Broward County, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach. A lot of them, the luxury brokers, reached out right away because it is an exclusive event. Only agents who have transacted with $10 million homes and higher are invited. And a lot of people were like, this, I have guys who are bringing their high-end buyers tomorrow, like their biggest clients tomorrow. And these guys are killers down here. So it's a really good platform for me because I get to meet everybody in town that's doing the high-grade deals. And I'm a performance-driven individual. So this to me it's my audition for the new me.
forget the audition for the new you. This sets the chapter for many great things to come. And residential and development and just establishing your name down here. When I first walked in, just like you said yesterday, this home is the home Messi should have bought.
There's some real truth in why I posted that. There was a video that leaked out on TikTok about 2 months ago when the big hype of his home tour was happening. And the group who built this house, Prestige, they're incredible. And their attention to detail is so strong. So there was a video that leaked out of this house saying that Messi bought this house. That was going around 2 months ago. Unfortunately, he bought in Bay Colony, which is also a very nice secluded neighborhood. Security is high. Patrick Bet David lives there. I was at the party at his house 3 weeks ago, and I seen the house right across the canal that Messi bought. And it's a nice hamlet. It's got just under 100 homes there. And Harbor Beach is also, a main area. Sunrise Intracoastal, which we're sitting in right now, and Las Olas. Those are the trophy spots, and they all offer something different. Messi, his kids go to a certain private school out near Bay Colony, and the security is some of the most difficult security you're going to encounter for residential homes. It's like they've turned Frank Sinatra away there before.
Really?
Yeah, he went to a house party, got turned around.
Who's going to turn down good old boys?
I don't know. They might not be here right now talking about it because it might have been the end of them. But that's this is the house, in my opinion, that Messi should have bought. And he's not too deep in the other house. He spent 10 mil. So if he wants to upgrade,
what's an extra 20?
Yeah, he'll flip it. He just brought up the prices in that neighborhood. As soon as he bought, Bay Colony shot off. He can probably sell that and make 20% right now just because his name was flagged with that hamlet there. And it brought the attention on that old subdivision or that old community that, Bay Colony for years was one of the most older and established neighborhoods. And then everybody started going to Las Olas. And then you heard about Harbor Beach. Harbor Beach is definitely, up there with exclusivity as well. And then Sunrise Intracoastal, you're starting to see the bigger deals here in Sunrise Key that are making records. So it's a very exciting time in South Florida. And regardless, if Messi doesn't buy it, we have other people that we've opened up dialogue with. And I'm very confident that if you look at any home that's over 25 million, you're not going to find anything that's going to touch this. This home is competing against a lot of homes that are more Mediterranean built, circa 2000, because the best real estate has been taken for the past 30 years.
Correct.
And now there's the mode of people have to buy homes to tear them down. And the teardowns are 13 million or higher for some of the best locations.
And this home lends itself to someone who is looking for that exquisite modern taste. I really feel like I'm sitting in a museum.
Yeah.
The bar is made with this incredible uplit onyx.
Yeah.
There's marble all over the place. I mean, we were joking around when I first entered, and you were like, "What did you say? We're going to play a drinking game." Tell us a little bit about the.
Yeah, we're going to go through the drinking game because there are so many lights in this house. I was going to give you 1 minute to count the lights and run through the house, and if you're within 100 of your guess of what's actually in the house, then I got to do a shot.
I'm telling you,
you're not going to even come close.
So many light bulbs in here. It's incredible.
Might have to do an over-under.
What do they have? I can count at least 15 maybe 20 chandeliers just on the first level of this home.
It's a light show.
It's a light show.
You got to see it at night.
Talking about a light show.
Yes.
You're about to set one off as well too.
Yeah.
This home would be what, in the top, let's say, 5 most expensive homes sold in the Fort Lauderdale area?
It would be. It would be at 29.9. We would be number 3. The one that sold a few doors down, same builder, that one sold for 29.6. Yeah.
So let's talk about how does a little kid from a little town in Canada get the opportunity to come down to Fort Lauderdale, make such a big splash and a name for himself to be able to get listings like this? And better yet, tell us about your success story of how that transition was even possible.
Okay. That's a really good question. It's a deep question. You're getting really deep now.
Okay, we're friends. I could get away with pulling out as much as I can from you. Trust me.
Yes, you can. You're my bro. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got into real estate 13 years ago. Me and Jess, my wife, who you know, we were coming down here, staying at her parents' place, and we were dating at the time. I just signed up with Remax Preferred back in Windsor. That week, I was washing cars for a living.
No, you weren't.
I was washing cars at my family's car dealership. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I didn't even know
Well,
that.
I was doing that, and I was doing like parts and service and stuff. But let's talk about the low.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
I washed
The ground
cars.
route, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I did that when I was 13 too.
Yeah, you got to.
Chump change, yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. And I mean, at that, when you're involved in a family business, it's always like, and if you got to change a garbage or wash a toilet, you do it. We're not. It doesn't go outside of us.
No
So
shame
it
in
was.
the game, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I learned how to respect the dollar. I worked with my family. I love them very much. So I got into real estate, followed kind of my mom's path, and I felt, hey, this is the business that I can be whatever I want to be, and there's no cap. You can literally go crazy. You know.
It's so true. There is no cap when it comes to selling real estate.
Yeah.
Sky is the limit. You can literally write your own check depending on how much work you're going to put in.
Oh, yeah.
But then let's not be fooled. There is no floor either. So if you're not putting in the work, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely, and you've seen it in the past year in different markets where like the tide's out and you see who was wearing shorts the past few years. And if you weren't grinding it out and you weren't building a pipeline or a business, you're out of business, you know? And then going back to the story of me coming down here, because I will always get off topic. I came down here, we drove by a Remax on Bayview and Oakland Boulevard called Remax Preferred. And I was like, wow, I work for Remax Preferred in Windsor. And I was like,
Same company?
No, just the same name. So I told Jess, I'm like, I'm going to buy that place one day. And she's like, oh yeah, okay. Like I'm a dreamer, which I know I am.
You sound like me. That's why we got along so well.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't dream, then what's the point, right? So 4 years later, I walk in that business and I speak with the manager and I asked if I can buy the business. Like I didn't even know what the hell it cost, right? A year of negotiating with the owner of that business, I became the owner, and that was about 5 years ago. So with that purchase, my whole goal was to be a broker owner of a branded, Remax office, and then kind of develop a sales crew down here so I can actually participate and make money in Florida, because I've always looked at Florida as like the big city, like the New York Yankees, and I want to wear that jersey and I want to hit the mound and see if I can do it. So when I bought the business, I got my visa, and then I had to wait 2 years to get my broker license. So it was a lot of risk there, and I have a lot of really loyal people in the office that made it possible. And I still have Linda, who's my broker manager. She's a lifesaver to me, and I trust her to death. But I got down here and started really soliciting a lot of clients back home who mostly are, high net worth or looking at secondary properties, and just, you know how it is. And same thing with promotions. It's all database. It's all service. So there are many times where I didn't get the opportunities down here, and I was like, wow. And it happens all the time still. I'm not going to say it doesn't. Somebody buys down here and it's not with me. Yeah. And it just means that I'm not meant to be in that opportunity right now. But I always lend myself, my contacts, my database to whoever's coming down here. I don't care if they're coming down for dinner, if they're coming down on a motorcycle trip. I am full access, and I try to impress people when they're here. That way, I have an indispensable aspect to me where people are going to have a need to call me if they want to do something that's not available to them because it's reserved, or there's just, they don't know how to approach it. So that's kind of my niche. Is I work with a lot of people back home They've introduced me to their friends, and it's more of, they have global friends and relationships that have propelled me down here. And I'm lucky to have a really good relationship with some of my biggest clients who are some of my best friends. And they really want me to be successful, and they believe in me. So they've always, cheerleaded for me and canvassed for opportunities. And that's put me in a position that I've been able to excel down here. And now that you start doing business in Florida, and as soon as you have opportunities that are higher grade, you just got to snap up that energy and harness it. And now build yourself in the market. It's not, hey, Brady's a one-off. He sold a condo for a couple $1,000,000. It's let's find a way to penetrate the building specifically, make sure everybody knows that I'm there, make sure everybody knows that I have buyers and that I'm very resourceful, I'm young, I'm energetic. And that type of energy is just like, it's always knocked into a new opportunity. It's, one week it's a $5 million home, and then the next week it was a $10 million home, or the next year it was a $10 million home. So it's always like the snakes and ladders, just be on the right side of the right people and work your ass off.
But that's a great analogy. And I think in many ways we have parallel lives. I think that's part of the reason why we get along so well.
Yeah.
You touched on hospitality, and I think hospitality, or being in hospitality for the last 20, 30 years, whether it was in events or whether it was in various areas of hospitality, being in restaurants or the nightlife business or whatever the case may be, it teaches you the soft skills on how to care and take care of your clients and really elevate and provide the highest level of service. You, like I, decided to bring clients from Canada looking to purchase in Florida.
Yes. By the way, we've done a ton of deals together. A ton of deals. And there's nobody better in Orlando than this guy right here. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, what's my nickname?
The Whale Whisperer.
The Whale Whisperer.
It's basically set it and forget it. If you're an agent and you're looking for a partner in a certain market, I can't stress enough, you need to call this man.
You can't get a better testimony than that.
I'm just telling you that it's the best. If you want to work with somebody who's actually going to take a deal from A to Z and go further and show you a different dimension of service and contacts, he's not just connected here. And there's a reason that he's in Fort Lauderdale, because he's very resourceful here. Miami as well. And it's that hospitality that has conditioned you and sharpened you into like a weapon. And I find that you coming down here, you stand out, because this is a transient market, and it's a transactional market, and we are not transactional guys.
And the funny thing about it is Florida will always be Florida, and I want to speak to that in particular. You see, as the economy starts to shift and interest rates start to rise, and you start to see all these different shifts in the market, which makes everybody ask the same question to you that they asked to me, which is, when is the market going to collapse? Are home prices going to fall?
Right.
What's your answer to that?
They're just not. I mean,
I agree with you.
Not down here. There's cycles you're going to encounter. So if you're dealing with, it's such a loaded question, because when you talk about somebody asking me such a broad question, I look at it as if I'm like the Terminator. You have to know market, macro. So people ask me about Windsor, and I don't see an end in sight, because there's a lot of growth indicators in that market. There's a reason I'm in Florida. There are growth indicators here that just attract a lot of business, a lot of industry, and a lot of money. I forget the stat, and you might know it. There's like, I don't know if it's like 1,000 new people moving to Florida every day.
That's correct.
1,003 people. That's absurd. In Windsor, we have a different thing, and it's called immigration. And the Canadian government has really accelerated immigration numbers, and it's putting us in a position where there's a housing crisis in Canada. The bigger markets in Canada, like Toronto, is very slow right now. You'll have Alberta, more of a balanced market. But then you look at affordability. We're still one of the most affordable markets in Canada, being southwestern Ontario, London, Chatham, Windsor. So you're seeing a lot of the migration of newcomers settle in where there's going to be access to airports, access to amenities, safe communities, good schools.
And of course, very close to the border as well, too. You can just
exactly it. We're 40 minutes
jump.
from the Detroit Metro,
Yep. And then you can go to the airport there as well and fly out to pretty much anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to Florida.
Yes.
I think what makes Florida unique as well, too, is the Canadian investors really account for usually the top spot in terms of investors looking to purchase in Florida. And they're looking for various reasons. Some of them are looking for passive income or cash flow, which in many other markets in the Northeast, whether you're looking at New York or Chicago or even Toronto or many other places throughout Canada, they're not able to actually get any cash flow. They're actually net negative in many cases with negative cash flow. And I never understood that strategy because I never wanted to buy something with counting on just appreciation. There is a lifestyle aspect, and this is what makes these properties really unique because they're a property that you can gain the cash flow, they could be managed, they are passive income streams for people wanting to build a portfolio down here. And most importantly, it's a lifestyle asset. It's something you and your family can use, and you can pass on that under different circumstances or in different markets. You won't be able to achieve that at all.
Right.
I think that is the number one factor that's making Florida stand out amongst the Texases and the Arizonas and Las Vegases and even California. And that's why we've seen a shift, especially after COVID, where you had a lot of people from the West Coast, which would have never come to Florida, come here. There's a lot of hedge funds that are opening up shop here as well too. There's a lot of tech companies that are moving their offices or at least opening new offices here. And I think that there's a world of opportunity when you look at Florida on the whole, especially in the southeast part of Florida as well too. Where do you see the trend going? And do you think that, this luxury market is a fad now, or do you think it's here to stay with lots more people?
So Fort Lauderdale specifically has never got the respect Miami or Palm Beach had.
Correct.
Palm Beach, you're seeing sales 140 million.
Crazy, right?
For compounds. You'll never, I can't say you'll never see that, but we've never seen that in Fort Lauderdale. And then you go down to Miami or you go to Golden Beach area, and they have had record-breaking prices. You see $60 million deals happening often in Miami. Those are huge deals. So when you look at the geography of it, and you look at Fort Lauderdale, which is like the Venice of Florida, you have beautiful waterways. It's the boating capital of the world. Many have referred to it. You have the international airport, great communities, and your close proximity. You're 35 minutes to Miami, and you're about 40 minutes to Palm Beach. So when you look at those factors, Fort Lauderdale is underperforming right now. I feel that we're going to get the respect, especially the Messi fever we're seeing. The guy is lighting this city up. And then now you're starting to see, David Beckham's yacht going down the Intracoastal and people wondering, well, who else is coming to Fort Lauderdale? There's been a lot of activity here. So we're trying to capture that market. And I think that we still have a way to go. And I think we're seeing some of the recent sales history that's translating into more confidence in the market, where you're seeing bigger homes sell, older homes getting ripped down or getting getting a $5-7 million renovation, and they're going to be flipping it for hopefully a $20 million profit. They're buying point lots for $17 million, and they're expecting to, sell out at around 45.
So when it comes to the luxury market, what do you think would be an interesting play from an investor's perspective? Do you think it's buying an empty lot and building a new home, or is it a tear down, or a mild renovation, if you want to call it that?
What I would really recommend is a few neighborhoods like Sunrise Intracoastal right here on this street, south exposure. You can see in the distance the Fort Lauderdale skyline. You have a really wide lake here, so it's not like the canals that you see that are usually like 130 feet wide. Here, if you're a true yachts person, you can have a huge boat with a wide beam because you can hang out in the channel.
I'm actually looking at a couple of yachts across the waterway over here that are larger
Logan
than
Roy's
the
over there or something. I don't know what's going on.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, Logan Roy entered the chat over there. It's crazy. You'll see
insane.
mega yachts here, but they put them over here because you can't fit true big boats in certain neighborhoods. You're not going to go to Las Olas and put in like a 50-meter boat or something. You're going to have to put it at certain docks, like certain piers that offer that type of dockage. So when you look here, you look at Harbor Beach, you look at Las Olas, you look at Sunrise Key, south exposure, underperforming homes, buying those and doing Airbnb rentals or doing long-term rentals or seasonal rentals. So if you can find a house in Harbor Beach and look at it as dirt value in the future and say, hey, this The house is listed for 6 million or 7 million, and it's on the south side of the street. You have sun all afternoon. That's what Canadians want. That's what a lot of people want that are not native to Fort Lauderdale or South Florida. You find that Floridians don't really want the full day sun because they're here all the time. They grew up here. The people that are here for a month out of the year and have a lot of money,
In the sun all the time. They're just like scarecrows, just sitting there in the sun the whole time. It's so crazy.
They're baking. So you want to have that, and it's all about securing opportunities. So when you look at a certain street, let's say, if you look at, go to Harbor Beach, and you look at some of the best streets there with the widest canals that are going to offer big vessels to be accommodated, which is going to be a target there. Usually the frontages are going to range from 90 feet to 112 feet in that area, and you have setbacks of 10 feet on each side. So now you're starting to see the homes that were $4 million 3-4 years ago, before the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, you're starting to see those homes sell for around 6 to 7 million, and they're complete teardowns. And now people are trying to buy multiple abutting properties so they can offer in the future potential compound sites. So I think the real play is finding underperforming assets, older bungalows built in the 70s on the south side of the street in the highest performing areas. It's all about the dirt. You'll never replicate the opportunities for certain streets. So if you're on Laguna and there's 12 opportunities to become a homeowner on Laguna on the south side on the Intracoastal, that's almost like buying a Van Gogh. Like you will not go wrong.
Good analogy, actually.
There's 250 homes in Harbor Beach. There's over 30 billionaires that reside in that neighborhood. You're good. Those are anchors. That's like having a McDonald's on as every neighbor. You'll never go wrong.
And I think what's even more important than that is really the opportunities that come out of having neighbors like that.
Yeah.
It's, the shoulders that you rub. It's the social circles you move in.
Right.
It's the opportunities that your kids can have in the future. And I know for a lot of people watching or listening to the show, it doesn't speak to that bracket or where they're at.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I can't relate. I'm not going to ever afford a home in Harbor Beach, but I love that lifestyle so much. And I obsess over all the criteria there.
Don't say never, just say yet.
I don't know. It's pretty tough for a guy like me.
Don't say never, say yet.
Yes, yet. But I'm obsessed with the credentials and the characteristics of the opportunities. And I believe in that area so much. And I believe in Sunrise Intercoastal and Las Olas that I love selling it. So to me, it's really just finding people that are trusting me to put them in a lifestyle that's suitable for them and their family. And the goal is to help them make a sound decision to get there.
I love it. I want to shift gears here, and I want to talk about the human nature part of what it is that we do. And more importantly, there's a lot of people that watch these interviews, these podcasts, and I think what they're really kind of tapping into is that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that X factor? You have it. I know. I see it all the time. Your energy is overwhelming in the greatest way. You come into a room, you're always positive, but more importantly, when times are tough, when it's tough slugging for whatever's going on, deals are not working out, how do you find that spirit to not only keep going, but excel at the level that you do and beyond?
It's hard, man. I mean, a lot of people always, and especially with interviews, you're always going to hear like the highs. And trust me, man, there's
so many lows.
There's a lot of lows. And the difference is you don't want to, you don't share the lows, and nobody really does. I mean, there's some people that go online and kind of take it to a social media post, but to me, it's, I find ways to dig deep, and it's usually, I go back to a couple things in my head that are just reminders of appreciating time and understanding the importance of time. It's like losing something or feeling loss or losing love. And to me, that's like, you know what, if I have the ability every day to wake up and be healthy and think about the person who's like in a hospital bed that would give their everything to have a week of being healthy. That's number one. It's like being so I guess like self-observant to know that it's not about the lows or how you're going to handle a roadblock. It's you're still here, you're still good, and you have something to work off of. And I'm in the spirit of I like failure once in a while, and I have a lot of it. I get my fair share because I'm always shooting my shot. But if you don't know
That's
how
all
to
you have
handle,
to do. You have to take the shot. And we're back with my brother from another mother, the one and only Brady Thrasher. We're here live at your new listing.
We
I'm
are.
so excited to be
it's
here.
nuts. I can't wait to show you guys through.
Trust me, that's going to be a whole other
Yes.
hour-long show
It's a
that we're
movie.
going to do. It is a movie.
You got the free ticket. It's a movie.
It's more than a movie.
I know.
So when I'm in this house, I keep thinking about all of these like movie characters that would probably be living in this house. I mean,
Yeah.
this house is so beautiful. It looks like it deserves to be in a movie, like a James Bond movie or a Batman movie or something or the other. I can even see Iron Man owning this house. That's how beautiful this
it's
house
suitable
is.
for that type of character. I'm telling you, it's inspired by that character. If you go through, you're going to see a lot of that, like just dramatic, sophisticated look. I think it's right in line with like a Tony Stark or a Bruce Wayne. But I won't discount the potential buyer of this place. It could be a tech entrepreneur or a family or a professional soccer player. I mean, we're open for business. We just have to find the person that wants this lifestyle.
I love it. And talking about lifestyle and getting to know these characters and people, I want to actually get to know you better, and I want to share this information with the world.
Okay.
People get to meet our personas.
They do.
Our
and we pay
avatars.
we pay money to kind of develop that too.
Yeah.
If you're on a sign and people think, oh, it's affiliated with success, it's not always that way. It's like you're paying money to brand yourself to look a certain way. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm open ears, man. I mean,
perception is reality, but I think what's really important is for people to get to know the person behind the person.
Yeah.
So, how are you really doing today?
I'm doing amazing. It's a week where I'm having an out-of-body experience. I mean,
I'm having an out-of-body experience.
As soon as you walked in, we started hugging and like
just
laughing. Like this place is nuts. So yeah, I'm doing amazing. For the people that don't know, I'm Canadian and I come down to Fort Lauderdale usually every 3 weeks. So I miss my wife and kids right now, and they're coming at the end of the week, which is amazing. So I have something to look forward to. But today I'm doing amazing. Every day is different and every day has challenges. But ultimately, I feel that I use things that could be perceived as negativity or downfalls or challenges, and I really use it as a fuel or an energy to humble myself to still dig deep and realize how lucky I am as a person, as a husband, and as a father.
How do you stay so humble?
I don't know. I think a lot of people it's human. It's really the human way. I just feel that I'm more open about it because things that I've been through in my life, I think I'm more deep than a lot of people just because of experiences. So maybe I possess that trait, and I tell people things that they're not going to forget, and I'm going to make moments last forever because I want to have that.
Yeah, I love touching, moving, and inspiring people, and I love to be in a situation where I'm on the receiving end of it as well too. They say money or success makes you really more of who you really are. So in other words, if you're a jerk, you're going to be a major jerk.
Yeah.
And if you're a kind and generous person, you may very well end up being a philanthropist.
Right.
So I appreciate speaking to you and getting to know you in this way, because we all have an image or a persona for who it is, but I'm fortunate enough to also know you.
Yeah.
So who's Brady when no one is around?
Well, I'm, married with 3 kids. Pretty simple guy.
And beautiful kids, by the way.
Yeah, like
beautiful
kids. Hobbies are pretty minimal. It's usually going to be me enjoying time at my house with my family, entertaining friends, cooking, having fun. I love being surrounded by my friends, not just always business, but just, having people in my life that kind of just throw that comedy all the time and brighten up days. And I feel like I have that therapy 24/7 with friends that are constantly connecting with me. So I'm lucky for that. But yeah, I'm a 37-year-old Windsorite from Canada. And I'd say a lot of people think I'm ambitious. So I would say I'd put that in that same category as I'm ambitious, and I'm always on a pursuit for something. And it's not a certain number. It's not a certain target because it always evolves. Unfortunately, I'm not really ever going to be happy with stopping. So I kind of have a sickness that I'm going to keep going.
I love talking to you because the more I talk to you, the more I begin to hear you and really reflect upon my story. I also have very limited hobbies as compared to most people who may pick up tennis or basketball or something else. And I find the greatest joys in my life doing much of the same like you, entertaining people, hosting people. I love cooking for people as well too.
Me too.
And the one thing that we have in common is we are crazy foodies. I mean, we love trying restaurants and
I have a problem.
drinking nice wine.
Yes.
I have a problem too, by the way.
We're doing dinner the next 2 nights here. Woo!
It's so exciting.
Yeah,
right?
we're going to light it up.
And then, can we talk about the treat that we're going to be getting here at the open house tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we have a couple things tomorrow. So, it's a very exclusive event, and we're inviting the top brokers in town, top brokers in Palm Beach, Miami as well. So we have people traveling in. We have a friend of ours that's going to be joining us, Anthony Vitolo from Emilio's Bellato in New York. He has a restaurant in Little Italy. Phenomenal.
And
phenomenal
that's a
food.
treat if you're looking for Italian food. I think it may be one of the best spots to go to.
It's amazing. I mean, it's up there with the best of the best in New York City. And he's coming here. He's catering the event with Toccato. They are a seafood and sushi business down on the beach. They are incredible as well if you're looking for a good culinary experience. They will be here, and then we have some friends that are going to drop by that will add some different giveaways and levels of excitement. So the experience is going to be memorable because you got to realize I'm doing this event, and many people who are invited have no idea who I am. I'm just some Canadian that sent an invite to a party of a really sick home. So they're coming here.
They probably are coming just to figure out who you are, I think.
Yeah, some people are going to come
maybe try
size
and
up, for
recruit you into whatever little thing that they have going on as well too.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's coming is not little. They're huge. So I'm actually looking forward to the opportunity to figure out the different personalities in town. You know, how I can, see how my success can hopefully be implanted in this market. Because anytime you go into a setting, like when I first got into real estate, there were the studs in our office, and you try to take the best traits or characteristics from those people, and you're like, well, this person can make people feel really good. They can hug somebody and it's like they're hugging their best friend, even though they're a stranger.
Correct.
And it might be because of the way that they speak or the tones they use or just how adaptable they are. And then you have people who are very professional, very organized. So me, when I got in, I tried taking a pinch of everybody, and you want to be like the LeBron James in high school. You want to be the one, right? The prodigy. Same thing down here. There's a lot of people that are going to be experiencing levels of success, maybe from their background. They may have been in sports management, have a lot of contacts. They may be married to a celebrity and they have a lot of contacts. They might
maybe a celebrity.
Maybe a celebrity, yeah. There's going to be some buyers here tomorrow that they haven't disclosed who's coming. So, yeah, maybe. It'll be cool to see, for sure.
So we always talk about how things are on the up and up. Let me just address a question that drives home and hits harder.
Yes.
What are you afraid of?
Well, I'm afraid
What
of
scares
losing
you?
people I love. Like the personal side, I'm afraid of my health being compromised, my family, or something happening with that. As far as fear, I don't know. Like I'm addicted to risk, so I'm kind of numb to letdown or failure. I just feel like it's, if you have an opportunity and if you're going to do due diligence and you count your outs, at least you're prepared for the things that are going to come up. And usually if I take on a risk, I'm not scared because you know that no matter what, you're just going to have to work harder to make it work. But yeah, the only thing would be is, just loss, family, health. There's nothing else that's scary, That's it.
They say you need to tame the cobra fear. And I was about to ask you, how do you do that?
What does that mean, the cobra fear?
The cobra fear is a metaphor for the scariest thing that could show up. So imagine if there was a big king cobra that was about 4, 5, 6 feet tall that just showed up in front of you. What do? Right? They didn't ask you to kill the cobra.
Yeah.
You just have to tame the cobra fear and go through it. Just like Nike said, just do it, right? Go jump higher, go around, do whatever you need to do to act in spite of it. It brings me back to a breakthrough moment that I had in my life, which, I feared failure so much that at many times it paralyzed me in my younger years. And if I could speak to my younger self, I definitely would be sharing this lesson with them. And ironically went to a seminar where we did a metaphorical breakthrough exercise, which was really interesting because it actually made me live out one of my childhood dreams as well too, which is to break through a piece of wood like you would in a karate class or something or the other. And although I don't know karate, I know kareze. And I was crazy in that moment to be able to think that I was able to achieve it. And the way that we were able to do that was such a great exercise as well too, because it allowed you to kind of face the fear on one side of the board, and the couplet, the opposite, was whatever you wanted to achieve once you were able to do that. And believe it or not, everyone in our group was able to break through it. I really banged it on my head, touched it on the floor, and there seemed like there was no possible way to be able to do that. I think it's important to surround yourself with very like-minded, successful, positive people like yourself, because it will catapult you to levels unseen before. That energy is infectious, and I'm of the belief system that higher levels of energy always nullify lower levels of energy. You can't have a sad person or a depressed person not be happy around happier people. It will elevate their mood. But it's very difficult to bring a really happy person or someone who's operating on a much higher level to a lower level of energy and have them dragged into it. Most of the time, they just will choose not to participate.
Such a good point. You were talking about fears. So if you surround yourself, what I found is the people that I've been surrounding myself with, I would say the better part of my life, probably since I was in my teens, they were always people that you would feel embarrassed not going for it. Because it was always like, hey, if you reach as high as you can reach and you fall, you're not going to die. You're landing on a cloud. You know what I mean? You can still get up and reach for something else. It's not going to be in the history books. So I've always had that attitude that I've sat around people that make a lot of different decisions. They've lost lots of millions learning hard lessons. And if you have those mentors around you, just like you said, it's all about environment for me too. If I'm around people who are enablers, that's not a good thing for my personality. I need people who are going to challenge me, point out flaws, and be very harsh, because you have to sharpen your skills. You can't just sit there and have everybody lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. But if you have those people around you that are just like, go push it, go for it, then you shouldn't be scared of that risk on that side.
We've talked about breaking through fear. We understand the successes, but let's go back. What are some of the hardest times or moments you've experienced in your life?
Oh, business-wise or personal?
Whatever you like.
Personal, I lost my dad at 15, and that's one of those things that I think it's a horrible experience and a horrible event that does bring benefits, if you want to look at it that way, because you learn so much about yourself. And I think that's a characteristic that has helped me develop in my business to be better and to understand people and to appreciate time. Time is everything for me. So that would be the hardest, I would say.
By the way, I just want you to know that I know a lot of people that know your dad and what a great guy he was and the things that he did. And I know what a great father you are.
Thanks, man.
How do you manage without your father?
You know what? I have a lot of good people around me, a lot of people that are like father figures. I grew up with an older brother. I grew up with an amazing mom, and everybody assumed that role, and I'm not going to say it's easy. You always, even, it's been several years, but you never go through and get through a grieving process. It's an endless, lifelong journey. And as you experience better things or more success, it's like, phew.
And won't he be proud of you right now, right?
I wish he was here, but it's one of those things we don't get that extra time. So you have to enjoy it and appreciate it. And for me, his legacy is something I'm proud of, and I still do stuff to make him proud. He's not here.
Yeah.
But it's, you go that extra mile.
I know he's looking down, so proud of you right now.
And I appreciate it, man. I really do. It's you need those people in your life and it could be negative or positive influencers. It could be a bad relationship that you just want to come out of there like a tiger and show that you are worth it, and that person didn't see your worth. Or it's the person you lost and you're doing it for them, or the people that are here and you're indebted to. You have to dig deep and find that energy to keep that flame lit when there's a storm outside. And that happens all the time. People are like, oh man, you got this listing, or your top agent. Man,
who cares?
I eat shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner often. But it's how I cook it and how I prepare it that I make it taste good, and then I get through to the next meal. You know what I mean? So you have to find the environment and the people. And I have a policy with friends that I'm here as a friend anytime. But if you're calling me and if it's negative and there's nothing good out of the conversation and it's just ranting and you need somebody to rant to, I'm not the guy.
You know, it's funny.
I'm a high performer mentally. I need you to be there for me, and I need a running mate, and I need somebody to push me. I cannot take those calls.
You know, one of the most valuable lessons that I've ever learned from you, and I don't know that you would even remember this, but we talked about this work-home life balance. And I know for us, if we could go into high drive and just be working all the time, networking, connecting, doing whatever it is that we do, it would be great. And there's a lot of areas in a lot of people's life where they may be excelling in their work, their sport, their whatever it is that they do, and fail miserably on the personal side. Marriage is tough.
Huge.
But you make it so easy. Look so easy.
No, it's
you have
not
a
easy.
Beautiful wife, you have amazing kids. What's the secret to the success?
Treating it as if it's your job and your most important clients. You're obsessed with performing and serving. You have to take that into your home. And that's it. Like me, I always tell people, they're like, oh yeah, real estate, it's consuming, it's a very involved business. Me, I'm a real estate agent. That's my part-time job. That's me. Real estate gives me the tenacity and urge to go out every day and build a business, and it's a vehicle for me to get the resources for my family. And that's where I get my satisfaction as a performer in work. But when I go home, that's the valuable time. That's everything that means the world to me, you know? And it took me a while, I'm not gonna lie. When I first got in the business, and when you get involved in sales or 100% commission or an all-in scenario, you're always focused on success. And it's always a deal, a client. I have to take this call. I have to leave this birthday party. And you have to respect yourself and have some like non-negotiables. And as soon as you have that, you create value of your time. And when you're aware of your time and your value, it just perspirates to other people. They know you're not fucking around. When we have time together, we both know we're busy. And he came down here for this. Same thing, if I'm going up to Orlando, I'm not gonna waste his time. His time is very important to him. And you time slot as well, because you accommodate the passions, the people in your life that you love. And I mean, you're an all-out guy. You never stop. I can call this guy at 10 o'clock at night and do a screen share. Me, I'll be in bed. He's out there, he's still networking because he's compensating because he put in more time with the family throughout the day. You know what I mean? So we make it work. It seems like, you know, some people have it figured out. No matter what, if you think you have it figured out, that's the wrong attitude. You're gonna fail because you're gonna stop thinking about it. You're gonna stop making it a priority. So me, I always look at it as if I'm slightly failing and I'm improving every day.
I love it. And the lesson, if I didn't articulate it, was he said, treat your family time like it was your client, with undivided attention, with lots of love and passion, and make sure that you're present. I've been known not to be present when I'm around a lot of people because I'm multitasking all the time. I earned the nickname of Squirrel because I'm always squirreling around all over the place.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
I know.
You're very present, and I know you're a perfectionist. You are a people pleaser, and it's hard to. And this is a quote that I heard before. It's like you can't love or have a really good relationship with more than 5 people at a time, and you're trying for like 20 at a time, and so am I. And we're always just trying to divide and conquer and give love and pass love and include everybody and do everything. And it is very hard. You got to pick the times and you have to trade off a lot of stuff. So there's always like the substitution. When I look at it, it's like, hey, I got invited to go backstage of a concert and it's sick and it's a good look. I should go. I might network. And it's like, you know what? No, I'm going to stay at home and I'm going to watch, Paw Patrol, and I'm going to lay with my kids.
You know, it's funny. I've learned how to say no so much more. And I actually love saying no now more than ever.
It's a relief.
You know, I think the question that is the greatest segue to where this conversation needs to go is, what's next for you?
Woo. You know what? I have no idea. coming down here and then, kind of getting a lay of the land, there's ambition for me to be down here more and to engage in this higher level transactions of luxury real estate brokering. Back home, I have a really good business too. So it's always like, am I Canadian or am I American or am I...
You're both.
I don't know what I am. I have no idea. The only thing that I promise you is I'm going to go for it on all fronts. But I have to figure out, which watermelon am I going to hold more so I don't drop one, And I have an opportunity down here where a stage is set. I should come down here and put more time and more energy. So I think that's the natural procession of what's going to happen. And my team back home understands it. They know that I've always had a better and a higher use for myself, that I value myself to do bigger transactions, and I get such a thrill from it. But I'm looking at growing my footprint of realtors down here. So I'm looking at acquisitions. I'm looking at being in ownership more. So that's kind of contradicting to me doing sales. You know what I mean? So I don't know what I want to do. You
want to do it all.
I'm obsessed with growth, and I don't want to wake up next year or in 10 years from now and say, I should have went for it, or I used to own a brokerage, or I still own a brokerage that's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for it.
Brady Thrasher in one word.
Sick fuck. I don't know. Can I put that in like...
That's 2 words.
No, I don't know.
That's 2 words. Okay, let's play a little rapid fire.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, modern or Mediterranean classic in terms of luxury real estate?
For my preference, modern.
Favorite place to eat in Fort Lauderdale?
Fort Lauderdale is going to be...
I'll give you more than one because I know you're biased.
Yeah, Monterano's, Toccato, and I can't wait until Vitola opens. That's going to be the top 3.
It's going to be crazy. Yeah. Best place to eat in Miami?
You already know. Carbone, man.
Yeah. We go there all the time.
I know. He always says to me, he's like, don't you want to switch it up? I don't. I want to go in there. Everybody knows my name. I love it. And I know you got that in different places in Miami. So we always have to
No, but we got the royal treatment when we were there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Not only did we get to enjoy a fantastic meal, but we actually got to go into the private room that's usually reserved for or courtyard, let's call it that, for the Beyoncé's, Jay-Z's of the world, and got to cool thing there try our new favorite cocktail,
Carajillo, yes.
Which is phenomenal.
Best thing ever. I had a buddy that tried it recently and he was blown away. It's a really good drink.
Yeah, and I'm typically a tequila drinker, but I definitely will switch to that any day of the week. Favorite wine?
Favorite wine would be Giuseppe Cantarelli. It's an Italian producer in Veneto.
Nice. Favorite place to go on a vacation?
Ooh, Italy. I spent a better part of the month in Italy. That was top. And if it's not there, I would say probably Marco Island, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, man.
At least it's still Florida.
I know, everybody's going to be like, this guy's a senior citizen.
I know.
Marco Island has sugar sand beaches, and I've had some of the best times just watching my kids grow there. So those memories are solid.
So since we've been talking about food and the finer things in life,
yes,
one of my favorite questions to end any interview was asked to me once is, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, doesn't matter the language, country they're from, who would they be and why?
Well, my dad, my mom, my wife, obvious reasons, get them all together. I'd say the figures that would be more known to the audience.
That's a great answer, by the way. I'm surprised you went with mom, dad, and your wife rather than anybody else. Most people would have said whoever.
Yeah. More notable characters that are going to be relevant to an audience here. Michael Jordan, I love. Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky. And
that would be an interesting dinner, huh?
John Rockefeller, just like a corporate raider that you can understand a guy that, because I love business and I'm a very passionate and I'm a competitive business person, and I look at this guy starting a business in the late 1800s and his aspirations being a poor kid from Ohio is to be a big business person. He got so big that they created laws and broke him apart. The antitrust for Monopoly. I'm like, that's the biggest compliment you can give to a guy. So I'd love to meet him.
Nothing good better than that.
Yeah, and he was definitely an animal in business for several years, and then he gave away a lot of his wealth, and I'm sure he has a lot of tales. So those would be 3 people I would love to sit with. And there's a lot of people. I'd love to sit with mobsters or something, old school mobsters, and because I love that history.
I know, I love it too. Last question.
Yeah.
If you could share a parting piece of advice for the viewer, the listener that's watching this show, that's been enjoying it,
Yeah.
what would it be? And I want you to talk to them right there.
Okay. So a lot of the people watching this are going to be probably real estate or entrepreneurial spirit, right? So, I mean, that's probably fair to say. I find it insane to me that when I'm dealing with people that are ambitious, they're only thinking about what's in the room or the room they're in or what they think they're capable of. And there's usually a lot of procrastination. So people who are really looking to make a name for themselves or operate as a complete savage, you need to learn how to look at a goal and reverse engineer it and think about how you can approach it from the top down. Even with this broker's open house, I looked at it and I'm like, well, I have all the email database. I can email every agent in Fort Lauderdale and market myself. But I wanted to have a caliber of agents. So I went on Matrix, scraped the email addresses of everybody who sold homes over $10 million. And that's the cream to the top. That's my highest and most productive price or price per acquisition, because they would hopefully be my client by cooperating, bringing in a buyer here. So instead of just having the broad approach and thinking you're making an effort, really look at a target and examine the highest success rate you can tackle on that. I don't care if it's the invites to a party, if it's your business, if it's launching your business, your team, building your team. Anything you do, find people who have done it, who have built it and mastered it, because they have learned over the course of probably 5-10 years the ways to make it fail. They probably failed. They probably spent a lot of money structuring things, contracts with agents on their team. You can go through and get somebody's blueprint if you're sincere and they know you're not doing it to be a threat to them, but if you're doing it to elevate the standard of excellence in an industry. That's what I find is never be too big to think that you don't need a mentor. I surround myself with mentors only. I'm not like a big book guy or a big motivational seminar guy. I'm just a firm believer in good people and selfless people. You know, find the leaders in your category. It doesn't have to be specifically in real estate, but find somebody who's built an insurance business, find somebody who's built a hospitality group, and go into them and understand what the touch points were that separated them from the rest. You know, that's what I find is really valuable. So if you're an entrepreneur, you got to dig deep and you have to really lay out the target of what you're working for, understand your core values as an entrepreneur. And if you're just looking at the money and making money, I can't really help you. I'm not that mindset type of guy. There's different strategies you can use, but if you're looking at building something that's everlasting, bring in the mentors and just get access to blueprints that are going to elevate you quickly.
I love it. You heard it here. Strive for excellence, set your goals, break them down, and wake up every day walking one step further to achieving the life that you want to live. Brady, thank you for being a guest on my show.
Thank you. We've been planning this for years.
I know, this interview could have gone on for like years and years and years.
Like Woodstock. We're just doing a 3-day event here.
We're going to be doing another one pretty soon.
Tonight.
Well, catch us for more clips, more reels on this incredible house. We have lots to share with you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Dawood Bedrosian, and check out all the footage from behind the scenes of this incredible home. Brady, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you?
Easiest way, I'd say my cell, 519-819-5965, or social media. It's easy. Brady, like Tom Brady, Thrasher, like the Atlanta Thrashers. Brady Thrasher, I'm all over.
You heard it here first. Thank you for joining Real Sense Now. It's your host, Dawood Bedrosian. Catch you next week and every week from 11 to noon right here on Florida Man Radio.